welcome to this JavaScript course for beginners. Today I'm going to be telling you the basics of JavaScript. So let's get started. But before that, please consider subscribing to this channel and hitting that like button. So, whenever you think about JavaScript or any programming language, you would think, what can we do with it? What is it? And how much is the average salary for a developer like that? So I'm going to be answering all of those questions for JavaScript. What is JavaScript? What can you do with it? How much is the average salary of a JavaScript developer? So let's get started. So JavaScript is one of the most in-demand programming languages in 2021. You can see it is with Python, HTML, CSS, Java. All of these languages are also like JavaScript, but they do other things, they're used for other things. So what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a high-level, often just-in-time compiled and multi-paradigm. It has curly bracket syntax, dynamic typing, prototype-based object orientation, and first-class functions. JavaScript is often abbreviated as JS. So now what can you do with it? Well, you can make fully functional web and mobile apps. You can make real-time networking apps. You can access the command line tools, and you can make fully functional games. So, according to Glassroom.com, a JavaScript developer makes an average of $72,000 per year. So, now we have this Google opened. So, you can right-click on it and hit inspect, or you can even hit Ctrl-Shift-I to go to the Inspect tab. So as you click on Inspect, this should open up. This is the developer tools. So you can click on Console. So I'll be telling you what is Console later, but for now, let's just see what it does. So you can just type in anything you like. Like I would say console.log. I mean, yeah. And I've just typed in console.log hello world. So it should give me hello world. So you can see there's a hello world. So what it does is, I'm not going to be telling you what it does for now because it's not how we use JavaScript. This is not how we use it. We use it in an editor. We don't come to the console and write anything. We go and make a different page for that. So I'm just showing you something in action. So let's write prompt hello, and you can see there's a prompt. An embedded page at new tab page says hello. Let's just type in anything and say okay. So you can see it returns this. That's what we typed on the prompt. So you can even add or subtract things or do anything. Like let's say 2 minus 2, 0, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 3. So you can see you can do anything. But this is not how we use it. For using it, we'll have to open up a code editor. So the best code editor that I find would be VS Code. You can go and download it using the link in the description. Just download Visual Studio Code on whatever operating system you are, Windows, Linux, or Mac. So when we have this installed, you can just open, you can just create a new file. I will just name this JavaScript crash course. And open this up, and I'm going to right click and open it with code. So now we have our code editor open. Now we can just create a new file clicking on this button. Just click on it and create a file called index.html. Now, if you're on VS Code, you can just write doc and hit tab and you'll get this boilerplate ready for you. So now, why are we using HTML while this is a JavaScript crash course? So HTML is going to be creating our web page and our JavaScript is going to hold our functions, what it is going to be doing. So let's just write a simple thing, h1, and let's just type in hello world and save this. Now, you can just go to the extensions and type in for live server and just download it. This live server is going to help you open your website on a live server. So let me just open this with live server. You can right click on the file and go and open it with live server. So for me, it will open up in the Microsoft Edge browser, whichever yours, you can say that. So I have this hello world typed here, as I had typed here hello world. Let's say this is a JavaScript course for better understanding. So you can see this is a JavaScript course for better understanding. Now, as I was telling you earlier, there is this console.log, but it's not there in HTML, it is in JavaScript. So for accessing that, we need to have a script tag. You need to have a script tag like this, and you can just close it. Now, when you have the script tag, you can just type in between your JavaScript. Let's say console.log hello, and let's just save this and go back and right click and hit inspect. So you can see that in the console you have hello over here, right out top, right on top. So you can see whatever I've written here is shown here. But that's not where I want my JavaScript to be. So I'm going to be creating another file called script.js. The name really doesn't matter, but the extension matters. .js for JavaScript, .html for HTML, and .css for CSS. We're going to be doing CSS later, but for now, let's just stand out with that. So let me just remove this console log from here, and let's just go and type in source to be script.js here. So now I've linked it to our JavaScript file. Now our HTML is linked to our JavaScript file so that we can, whatever we write in our JavaScript file will be shown in the HTML. So let's just write in console.log starting with JS. And you can see the console.log has changed to starting with JS. So now let's erase this. Now let's learn what are comments. So what are comments? Comments are just for a better understanding for a human reading. Now you can just comment anything out. Let's just it is just for the human reading. It's not what the computer or the code will analyze. So it is not a code. It is just a comment. Let's say I've just wrote uh, console dot log and just hello world. So now if a person does not know what we're why are we writing this, so to know why are we writing this for our later use or for somebody else to see the code and tell what it is doing, so we can just comment something and just write this is my first line of code. So now it's not going to be showing this anywhere, but this is there in the file. So let's just open this. We have hello world, the console.log, but we don't have anything else, do we? We don't. So this is what a comment is. We're going to be using this for our use now, because everything I teach you, I'm going to be putting this as variables, and I'm going to be telling you what are variables. So now, what are variables? Variables are something that we use in maths too. So let's say a variable name equals to um, code rocks. So that's what our channel's name is. So the variable's name is code rock. The name equals code rock. Now, if I just console log out the dot log out this name without any codes, without any single quotes or double quotes, then you'll see in the console we have this code rocks written. You can see the code rocks right here. So variables are just for assigning something. Let's say we are using variables for assigning something like, now if we want to change it, let's say code rocks is for the first time, and then after that the name will be, sorry, name equals to hello, and just save this and see it does not show anything, but because we haven't console.log name, yeah, now you'll see this, there's a hello. So the JavaScript file is read from the top to bottom. So it compiles every single thing from top to bottom. Let's say the console.log out first, and then it reads the next thing, variable name equals code rocks, and then it console.logs out the name, which is from here they have known that it is code rocks. But after that, we change the name to hello, and after that, if we console.log out the name, then we have hello. So that is why we have hello world, then code rocks, and then hello. So this is what are variables. Now we know how to assign a variable, but there are different types of variables. Not variables, I would say, but there are different things. Like variables, there are constants, but const. So it's not properly like variables, but it is different and same at the same time, because you can assign it, but you cannot change it later. Like variable, a variable once it is, if it's told that once the name is code rocks, it can change, but a const cannot change. It is fixed. Let's say const variables equals to 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, but and then let's just console.log out variables, and then let's just save this and see. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's doing the same thing. But after that, if we try to change variables equals to something else like hello, and then console.log variables, so you can see there's an uncaught reference assignment to constant variable. You can see that this variable is a constant. It's a constant. It cannot change, while variables can change. So let's just name it as const. Now the next thing is let. Let is also like variables. Well, it is a lot like variables. And it's not like const. It is the same as variable. Let's just say let equals to, let code equals to hello, lo, lo, lo. Okay, and then console.log out the code. Okay, and then write let's just save this and check this out. We'll just remove this one so that we don't have this. Yeah. Now you can see hello, lo, 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 and then we can just change this too. So let's say not let, code equals to no one. Okay, and let's just see, let's just log out this one, the code. Yeah, now you can see the known. So let are also like variables. Let and variable are the same things, but constants are a bit different, but at the same time they're also like variables. To assign a variable and initialize it. But are there only these kinds of variables where we can only add strings? Well, there are two types of things we can assign to a variable. One are primitives, or the value types, and second are the reference types. So today we're going to be only be focusing on the primitive types, and later in the course we'll be learning about the reference types. So there are different types of primitives. Let's primitive. One is string. Let's just write in string like this. Let's say let age equal to hello. Not age actually. Let's just assign this as name. Okay, and then let's just type this, not names, as hello. Well, this is a string. You can see hello is a string because it has double quotes or single quotes also. You can even add single quotes like this. This is single quotes. This is string. Well, the next is numbers. Numbers, which is, let's say, 25. Well, this should not come in any of the quotes, not double, not single. So let's just type in 25 like this. Well, this is a number. Next, we have booleans. Booleans are true or false. Well, this we can change it on behalf of what it is. So if it's true, if it's false, we can change it. We can use it later, like if we want, if somebody chooses red, then give them the gift, and if somebody chooses blue, then don't give them the gift. So true or false. Well, you can't make any variables, constants, or lets on the false or true because it's not possible. It just runs into errors. So this is what is a Boolean. And later in the course, we'll be learning about the reference types. So there are different types of primitives. Let's print a primitive. One is string. Let's just write in string like this. Let's say let age equal to hello. Not age actually. Let's just assign this as name. Name. Okay. And then let's just type this, not name, names as hello. Well, this is a string. We can see hello is a string because it has double quotes or single quotes also. You can even add single quotes like this. This is single quotes. This is string. Well, the next is numbers. Numbers, which is, let's say, 25. Well, this should not come in any of the quotes, not double, not single. So let's just type in 25 like this. Well, this is a number. Next, we have booleans. Booleans are true or false. Well, this we can change it on behalf of what it is. So if it's true, if it's false, we can change it. We can use it later, like if we want, if somebody chooses red, then give them the gift, and if somebody chooses blue, then don't give them the gift. So true or false. Well, you can't make any variables, constants, or lets on the false or true because it's not possible. It just runs into errors. So this is what is a Boolean. Next is undefined. Let undefined equals let undefined. So this is just not defined. It does not know what it is equal to. So we can use it later. Let's say it is, for now it is undefined. Let undefined. We have just made a variable, but we haven't assigned anything to it. It does not know what it is. It just has a name, undefined. Or you can even change it. Let's say just a name. Okay, and this is undefined. Well, there is a different way of writing it also. You can not just write like this, you can write it like this too. Undefined. This is undefined. And the next is null. You can assign null like this. Nothing equals to null. Well, what is null? Null is a basic thing. Everybody knows what is null. Nothing. It has nothing. It just clears everything. If there is, let's say we're making a project, and if the person chooses a particular thing, if he chooses a particular thing, then it should be uh, 1, and if he does not choose anything, it should be null. It just has nothing then. These are the types of primitives we have. Well, if you remember, I told you that JavaScript is of dynamic type. Well, there are two types, dynamic and static. JavaScript is a dynamic type. Well, what do I mean by dynamic? I've opened up with live server or page, and you can see all of these things. So let's just write type of name and hit enter. You can see it's a string. Well, let's see. Yeah, so you can see the name is a string over here. It can show you whatever it is. Now, why the inspect has gone down? Yes, here, console, and let's just bring it down and here. Yeah, so it's a string, right? We can see it over here. Well, I've logged it out, and we have this one also has a string. Well, constants are different and lets are same as variables. So now how do we know this? Well, I can type in type of numbers and hit enter, and it is number. Well, this is number. Let's just change the names so that it's not anything else. Hello, and then just anything. Sorry, just a name. Yeah, and nothing. Okay, so now let's just type of and just a name as undefined. It shows it undefined because it is undefined over here. And then the JHDF type of JHJ, DSH. And you can see that is undefined. Well, it should be Boolean. Let's just change the name because I don't think I typed it right. Hello tutu. Let's just clear the console by hitting Control L, and let's just type of hello tutu, and you can see it's a Boolean. Now, if I type in type of for hello and hit enter, you can see it's a number. Well, I can change it right over here. Let's just change it right from here. So you can see hello is number. So let's just type in hello, and you can see it comes out 25 because hello is equal to 25. But if I say hello equals to 10 and then hit enter, and you can see it's 10. Now let's just type in hello again and hit enter. You can see it has changed to 10. It hasn't changed over here because we have already made this 10, because we've already made this 25. But if we refresh and then type in hello again, it changes to 25 because we haven't changed it on here. We have only changed it on the console, and it stays just for the time when we haven't refreshed the page. So we haven't refreshed it, it was 10. But as we refreshed, it changed back to its original form. Well, we can change it over here too, right? Let's say hello equals to 10 now, and save this, and you can see hello will be 10 now, because first it read and then it changed the hello. So this is how it works. This is called dynamic. Well, in static, you cannot change anything. It will be as a const. You can see this, you can't change it later, right? Let's just type in variables and hit enter. And you can see variables equals to 10 and hit enter. You can see uncaught type error. That is what is called static. But dynamic is we can change. Now, if we see the nothing, let's just type in type of and write nothing and hit enter. It shows object over here, but it's actually a null because that's what it is. Now, let's talk about the different types, the reference types. Now, as you might remember, I told you there are reference types. Now, let's learn about reference types. So there are three types of reference types. There is array, there are functions, and there are objects. Let's start with objects. And let's just remove all of these for now and save this because our console is having a lot of things in it. So let's just remove all of those. Now, let's say objects are like in a real life. Okay, so let's say a person. Everything in real life has a name. Okay, so let's say I am my name. I have a name and I have an age and I have an address. So like that, even objects in JavaScript are alike. So let's say we have name. Let's just say name equals to code rocks and the age to be 25, and let's just write let actually let so that we can, and this one too, let. Okay, now we have this. Now we don't have anything here, right? Like we'll just log this out, console.log, and log this out as name, and console.log out the age. And if we save this, we have code rocks and 25 as our age. But that's not an object, right? To tell everything about that person, we can just make this. Let's say let. Well, you can even make it as a const if you don't want to change the values later. But I'm going to be putting this one as let for now. And let's just write person equals to an object. This is how we tell it's an object. Now let's just put a name, these values as name and colon to be in a string, code rocks, and the age colon in numbers 25. And let's just save this. We have to put a comma over here so that it knows it's the next thing. And let's just save this. Now we can just remove this so that it does not have anything else. And let's just console.log out the person and save this. You can see it comes out as an object. If you open this up, there's age and name. We have the name in a string and an age in a number. You can see this is an object. It is written as object, has own property, is prototype of, and all of those things. So this is how we make an object. Now we can even change this. Let's say open this up and we need to change the name. So there are two types in which we can change the name. One is the dot notation, and the second one is the bracket notation. So in the dot notation, we can do the following. Let's say the person dot the name of that person, name, equals to, let's just change this. So change it to John, or let's just change it to um, um, any random, and save this. And in the console.log, let's just write person dot name so that we have only the name logged out. So let's just write in, and you can see in the console.log we have any random. Now the second type is the bracket notation. So bracket notation is the follows. You can just put person and just put square brackets, and in double quotes or single quotes, just, but single quotes are a bit better. So let's just put single quotes and write in the age. Okay, and let's just be equal to any random age. Let's say 545. That's not anybody's age, but even though. And another console.log out the person dot age, and save this. So we have any random as the name and 545 as the age. So we can change it using these two notations. But you will be thinking which is better. I would say dot notation is better, and you can set this as your default. But bracket notation has its own properties. So both are good, but I like the dot notations. Arrays are also a kind of reference type. So array is also known as an object too, but arrays are different. Let's just remove all of these things and write in ARRAYS, arrays, so that now we can make an array using let variable and even const if we don't want to change the list of items in that. So we use arrays for using, like, let's say we have a shopping list. So to add more items, there are a lot of items, so we can add it. So it's just like objects, but in a different way. So let's say let shopping items equals to, in square brackets. This is an empty array. So this is how we write an empty array. Now inside these square brackets, we can write all of the items we need inside this array. Let's say a soap, and um and let's say another soap 2, and um and another soap 3. Okay, so now we have 3 of them, right? So let's just console dot log out the array shopping items, and we have this. So it looks just like an object, but it's not an object, it's an array. But arrays are also a kind of object, but not properly an object. So you can see soap 2, and soap 3. They have different index 0, 1, and 2. When you use JavaScript, the indexes start with 0, 1, and 2. So let's just, as I told you before, JavaScript is a dynamic type. So we can even change it. So let's say let shopping items shopping items for, sorry, 3, um 3, because there it starts with 1, sorry, it starts with 0, so it'll be the third item, because it's like that. So equals to um another soap 4, and save this. Shopping items, okay, we have put this as let. We have to just erase the let. So this shopping items, and the third or the fourth one is going to be soap 4. So we have this soap 4. It is not only that we can add only strings, we can even add numbers, or like this, like 4. And you can see we have 3 strings and a number. Let's just write type of shopping items, and it's an object because we have all of these things, right? So it's an object. Now we can perform many operations on an array, but we're going to be seeing only one today. So let's just see dot in the console.log. Let's just hit shopping items dot, and we have so many of these options. So you can see we can do all of these things. Flat map for each, includes, concat, copy within, entires, every, fill, filter, all of these things. But today we're only going to be using length. So length does only one thing. It just tells you how many elements are there in the array. So we have, you can see there are four items or the elements in the array, so it should be showing 4. You can see there is a 4. Let's just, now we've looked at objects and arrays. Now let's see functions. So functions are just a set of statements which perform a task, or it sums up all the values. So let's give an example. Let's say function, and the name of the function, let's say CLG, okay, or it's just console.log console, okay, and parentheses. Let's not just put console because, and let's just write hello, okay, and parentheses, and then the curly braces. That's how the syntax works. Not functions, function actually. Made a mistake there. And this is how we make a function. Now inside this we need to put all the tasks that it needs to do. Let's say console.log out this is a function, and save this. Now it will not do anything until we declare it. Now we have not now let's not terminate this like this. If you could put semicolon, then it terminates it. But if you go down and just type in the name of the function, the hello, and the parentheses, and terminate this using semicolons and save this, then you can see this is a function in the console. Let's say it has some other work like alert about this is this is a function, and let's just save this, and you can see there it says this is a function, and let's just click on OK. So this is how we use functions. Now we can put a variable inside these brackets, like let's say name. So this name is a variable inside this function. It can only be used inside this function and not anywhere else. If we try to use this outside the function, it is not going to be used. So let's just remove this and let's just write in console.log out um, as a string as hello and and a plus and the name. So what it's doing is there's a hello string and there's plus, so that it knows that we have to even add this name, and but it does not know what this name is. So this name is a parameter, okay, and it shows name as any. If we just save this, it's going to be showing us hello undefined. Well, it is undefined because the default value of any variable is undefined. So to change that in the declaration of the function, we need to add this. We need to add the thing that is inside, what it's going to be, the value of the name, value of the variable. Let's say John, and let's just save this. It shows hello John. Now we can even add many additional parameters. Let's say another one as last name, and just put a space, like this, and you can just add another thing that is last name. But it shows undefined again because we haven't defined last name. So let's just add another thing. Let's say comma as the last name to be Smith Smith, and save this. Now it shows hello John Smith because it has both of them. Now if I write the function again and change the variables to code and then code and rocks, so it's going to change over here, hello John Smith and hello code rocks. So it's going to be having both of these because one of them has John Smith and the other one has code rocks. So let's just remove this and let's just save this, and we have the functions. Now we'll learn about the types of functions. So now there are two types of functions. One is the calculating function and the second one is the task function. So this is just doing a task. So it has the task function because it's just adding these things. It's just doing this console. So it's doing this. So this is a function which is performing a task. So it's a task function. And then the second type is our calculating function. Calculating function. So what it does, this kind of function, is that it just calculates. So let's just say calculate and this and the brackets. Okay, now let's say there's this. Now we needed to return this thing, which is the number into the number. So it does not know what the number is for now. So let's just add number here as a parameter. Okay, so now let's remove this because this part is done. So, and let's just add this calculate and then the number to be 2. So, and save this. Now it's not doing anything. So we need to console.log out this thing. So how do we do that? There are two ways of doing it. One is by making a variable as any variable like number, sorry, yeah, number equals, actually let's just change this, numbers equals to calculate 2. Okay, and then logging out this numbers and saving this as, here you can see there is 4. So this is one way. There is another way by removing this variable and putting it directly on the console log here. I don't know why it's just what's happening. Wait a second. Calculate 2 like this, and let's just erase this. Yep. And we have for the same. There are these two ways that we can put this in the console.log. So this is it for today. Hope you like this. Please consider subscribing to this channel and hitting the like button. Thank you for watching. Meet you in the next one.